There's a function that's been added to Excel recently called XLOOKUP, and it kind of replaces VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, although they're not going away, they're still there. But this is a bit easier to use and understand, and also it does have an interesting extra feature, although there are other features as well, but we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. So it works the same whether you're using the Windows version or the Mac version, or even on the iPad or iPhone, iOS. So we're going to take a look at it now. So what I've got here is a list of training courses. I've got dates, the software, the level, and I wanted to fill in the tutor and the location based on this table over here. So it's going to be based on the software, so it's always going to be the same tutor, Gary, that's me, every single time, and it's based in London. So we've got London, Manchester, Brighton online on here as well. So what I'm going to do is, the first one I'm going to do is the tutor. So I'm going to click over here. Now I want to find XLOOKUP. I'm going to use my insert function just over here. I could go to formulas and choose it over here in insert function. If you're wondering, it comes under lookup and reference, and it's X, so it's right down the bottom of this list. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on my insert function here. Up comes my formula builder, and it's up at the top here in the most recently used because I've just used it. I could go to my lookup and reference, or what's quite handy, if you haven't seen it before, you can look it up just by typing in the top there, pressing go, and up it comes. I'm now going to click on OK because it's already selected, and I get my formula builder. On the Mac, the formula builder, which you can see here, comes up on the right hand side, but basically it does the same thing. As with all functions, anything in bold here has to be filled in, and those that are not in bold either have default values or don't need to be entered. We're going to take a look at using the if not found, but we're not going to use it straight away. We're going to add it in, and I've got another example. It's going to show you the match mode, and we're not going to worry about search mode at this stage. So the lookup value, that's the value that I'm searching on, is this one over here in this column, and that's the Excel here. The lookup array, now when you were using the other functions, VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, you had to select the whole array, so that could easily be 2 columns. What I'm looking up is just this column here, so this is a little bit different. When I copy this down, I don't want the rows to change. I don't want that to change to L6 and L11 and so on. So I need to put a dollar in for the absolute referencing to make it absolute. If you don't know about absolute and relative referencing, which is what happens when you copy something, I've got a tutorial on that. The link is below, and that will help you understand that if you haven't seen it before. But what you'll see is it stops this from changing when I copy. This one I do. Now the return array in VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, you would tell it which column you wanted to take it from, column 1, 2, and so on. Here you just actually highlight the array that you want. And again, I need to be careful when it copies. So I'm just going to put the $sign in. Okay. And these are going to look for an exact match. The match mode is whether it's going to look for an exact match or not. And for that, I am just going to now click on OK. And you'll see it's picked me up, and I'm just going to copy that down. You'll notice the last one here, access, is not in my list here, which I could go in and add that. But there is another thing to this, which is that if I go into the insert function, what to do if it's not found. This is a nice little feature, and I'm going to say course not found. So when I click on OK, let's just copy that down again. Oops, there we go. Let me just do that. Ah, it's done it. There we go. So it just took a moment to catch up with me. So there you go. That is now in there. And as you know, if any of these change, it automatically updates, because that's the thing about formulas and functions. So let's put that back. So that was useful. So I've done that, and I've put in the if not found in there as well. So you can see at the top here, I've got all these arguments. Okay, so let's just make that a bit wider. So here I am. And what I want to do is get the location in here. Now, if I was using VLOOKUP for this, I would have a little bit of a problem because I'd be searching here and the values that you could get were always to the right of that, or if it was HLOOKUP, always below. This is to the left, and this is where XLOOKUP really can help here. So it's exactly what I was doing before. I'm going to go to my insert function. XLOOKUP is already selected. I'm going to click on OK. The lookup value is Excel. My lookup array is the software here. The return array is now this one. I must go back and put my dollar signs in. And again, I can do if not found. I'm going to do the same again. Oh, it needs inverted commas. Let's just put the dollar signs in. I can do this if you're using a PC. You can use the function F4 and it just toggles through them. I'm just going to quickly type it in. You'll see all of this in my tutorial on absolute and relative referencing. So let's click on OK. I'm going to copy this down as I'm grabbing the right hand corner using the fill function here to copy it down. And you can see it's now picked up to the left. So that wasn't possible before. So this is a big advantage. So you can see two things that have been introduced into this. One is you can choose from, it doesn't have to be to the right of what you're looking up. And also you can put in what if something's not found, and you can have that down here. But what if I've got something else where I've got a range, and how am I going to handle that? So let's just go over to the student grades. I've got student grades here. They've got a percent, and in this column here, I've got a list of what they're going to get. And these are Gary's made up ones. So anything from 0 to 45, they're going to get an F. 45 to 50, they're going to get an E. 50 to 60, a D, and so on. So for this, when we were looking at the training courses, it was looking for an exact match, but this we're looking for a range. So we're going to get it that if it doesn't find the one we want, it's going to take the next lowest one. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to, this time I can do it just by typing it in, XLOOKUP. And you'll see it comes up as I start typing. I'm going to double click it. So now I've got my arguments here telling me what needs to be put in. So the percent is here, press comma, and the lookup array, you can see it's made it bold here, is this one. Oops, hang on, let me get that again, is that one. And I need to put my dollar signs in again to stop it from when it copies down, that it doesn't change. I need to put the comma in for the return array, which is this grade here. And once again, let's put the dollar signs in. You can try this without the dollar signs and see what happens, but this is good practice to do it like this. If not found, well, that's not really going to happen in this case because it's going to find something. I'm going to put another comma in, which takes me to the match mode. So you've got here the default being an exact match, which would be if you typed in 0 in here. If you type in -1, it's going to be the exact match or the next lowest one. So it's either going to find 45. If it doesn't find 45, it's going to go to the next lowest value, which is 0, and pick up the F. I could do the other one, which is an exact match or the next largest item. So if it goes to 46, it won't go back down to 45. If I'd chosen, say, like the -1 version, it would go up to 50. But in this case, I want it to go to the lower value. So I'm going to type in -1. And that's it. I'm now just going to close the brackets there, press enter, and you can see Marvin correctly gets a D. He's got over 50, but not 60. And I can copy this down here. You know, there's a quick way to copy this using the fill. I've been grabbing the bottom right hand corner and dragging it down like that. Let's just undo that. But actually, if you just double click here, it actually just copies it down and it recognizes that that's your last entry there. So that's how it works if you want to have it over a range of values as opposed to an exact match. So that's how you can use XLOOKUP. VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP are still there if you want to keep using those. I must say that I do like XLOOKUP. I do find it easy to use, and it does have those little extras in it, such as if not found, and also the fact that you can find something to the left of what you're looking up, or if it was going across it instead of using HLOOKUP, it would be something above. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, I've got the tutorial on using the $signs for the absolute and relative referencing in another tutorial, so you can go and have a look at that. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.